What's up, YouTube? This video today, just gonna talk about some of the stuff I'm growing. Everybody's kind of asking, what are these plants they see? And obviously, you can see what some of the stuff is, but I'll go over some of the stuff in more detail. So let's start right here. We have here is okra, right? So I don't know if people are familiar with okra. Goes in a lot of southern dishes, gumbo, stuff like that. There's the okra pod. This one used to be harvest. Typically, you want to harvest them about 4 inches. Um, Once they get past 4 inches or so, they become a little bit tough, but crunchy, uh, soft center, goes well in again soups and stews and stuff like that, or just eating raw right off of the bush. But these things will get pretty tall, and they'll start to put out a bunch of flowers similar to what you see here. I want to open probably in a couple days. Then it'll stay open for a while, be pollinated. Flower tip will fall off, and you'll have this. All right. This is another variety. It's called Burgundy. You can see the stem is a little bit red. Of course, the chickens were tearing into this one quite a bit. Seem to like it. Over here, you have the glass corn. Rainbow colored glass corn made for milling and popcorn, right? So that's what you see here. And that is glass corn. The wind is blowing all my stalks. You can see one of them has tasseled. These were planted April 18th. And a few farmers told me a long time ago, if it ain't knee high by July, you may not get any corn. So looks like we doing pretty good right now. Of course, that's a chive, little chive plant in the bucket there. It's been cut back quite a bit. Got blackberries. It's kind of favorite spot where the girls like to hang out because you see it's always moist and damp. Got a pear tree here that I really neglect. We don't really eat the pears. They're pretty bland. I'm not a big pear fan anyway. And there's a mint plant down there. It's been eaten to shreds. Let's walk this way. Over here, you see we have a fennel plant, sage, oregano, and thyme. We got some artichoke. A Meyer lemon tree there. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see it's a Meyer lemon tree. See the lemons. We got a whole big patch of rosemary right there. If we pan back this way, let me walk over here. Of course, there's a tomato plant there. We got some asparagus there. We got more chives there. And then all these little plants that you see like this, these are volunteer tomato plants. And they're spread out all over the place from the chickens. Last year's tomato plant, we had a small little cherry tomato plant here. And we had a couple of tomato plants over here where we also have more asparagus growing, as you can see there. We got asparagus there. We have another one back there. We have one here and 1, 2 there. But again, volunteer tomato plants from the chickens. eating last year's crop, and they like to poop. This is a plum tree, so you can see there's plums on this tree. Again, squirrels, chickens, they all love this thing. Back up a little bit so you can take a look at that. So it needs to be trimmed. We had a storm a couple years ago where we had this huge tree that fell over, and it actually fell on this plum tree and the nectarine tree. And again, there's the rosemary. So here we have another corn patch, and this one is devotion and a hybrid yellow corn, a white devotion and a hybrid yellow in this patch here. And as you can see, we do have pollination going on. So great. Hand pollinate these. When you have a small patch, it's probably best to hand pollinate. So today's been windy, so I tied them up because the wind is blowing them over. The corn stalks are too thin compared to how big these cobs are. So far so good on that. If you come here, we have pomegranates. I don't know if you can see, but we have some pomegranate growing here. And this tree or bush or whatever you want to call it is a few years in. Probably 4 years, I would want to say. 4 years in. It's doing good, doing well. It produces quite a bit. Of course, you got to fight off the freaking bugs. But other than that, beautiful, I gotta say. Here is the nectarine tree. Now, again, this tree and the plum tree both had a huge tree fall on them a couple of years ago when we had a huge storm that was, I don't know, 100 miles an hour wind almost. It was crazy. Knocking over trees all over the city. But this is the tree that was blown over, one of our trees that was blown over. And this tree, obviously you can see, it's not a small tree, fell and it hit the roof, crushed the AC condenser, fell on top of that gazebo frame on this tree and this tree as well. The top of the tree, when it fell over, actually landed here. So it was a pretty big tree. Now back to the plants. Of course, we have a zucchini here, and this thing is massive, right? Let's see if I can find a zucchini because we've been harvesting already. But if you look in there, you'll see a little baby zucchini right there. Anyway, and here we also have some watermelon, right? Parsley, bell peppers, and then a cucumber plant over here. Now, mind you, there's seeds for lettuce and cabbage in here. I had 2 lettuce plants in there, but I decided to jettison them after the second harvest. We have a little sage and basil over there, a little Italian mix. This little bush is celery that I'm regrowing. Look, we have a jailbreak. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we have a jailbreak. Dun, 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 dun. We have a jailbreak. I'm gonna give her a second to kneel around, as long as she don't mess with nothing while I do this. All right, so in here, this is okra, more little okra sprouts, okay? And as you see, There's a little okra growing on this one. Right there. Nice, very nice. And then this is a tip. These were suckers that are pulled off of the plant. What you want to do is you want to take the suckers off, stick them in a jar of water like you would a rose, put it in the window and let it root. Those suckers will root, and once they root, you just plant them in endless tomatoes. Tip of the day, endless tomatoes. So if we come here, we have obviously watermelon here. And if you look right there, you'll see there's a watermelon growing there. And if you look right there, you'll see there's another watermelon growing. We got tomatoes in a cage in the middle. Tomatoes in a cage in the middle. We have some crookneck squash right here. We've been harvesting the crookneck squash. We've harvested it twice already, taken about 4 off so far. We have pickling cucumbers, which we've also been harvested, I don't know, 8 cucumbers off of it so far. More tomatoes. This thing needs some work done on it. I haven't been out here in the last couple of days tending to it like I should. If you pan around over here, we have more zucchini, right? More zucchini. That one is about to be harvested. On the back side, sorry about my fingers, I'm moving around like crazy. Another zucchini here, another cucumber here, and hard to see it, but there's another watermelon right here. A little bit of kale. Aphids was giving me some real challenges here, but done away with those. Another tomato, Swiss chard. Another tomato in the cage here. And then we have more Swiss chard and another bell pepper there. If you look over here, we got some chives on the ground back over there in the back. So let's move around. Guys, fighting pests is an ongoing thing. I just stopped because I saw some pests on my pomegranate I needed to knock off real quick. But here we go. Here's a peach tree here. Now, this peach tree, let me back up a little more. This peach tree, look at that, it's not bad, huh? It's about 15 feet. This peach tree, this nectarine, and this plum all went in at the same time about 4 years ago. They're all dwarf trees, so they get about no bigger than 10 to 15 feet. You can even grow them in pots. We have grapes down here growing around the coop. I had a second one on the other side, but unfortunately they were damaged. Then we have some blueberries in the pot here. We have what were broccoli, but we harvested. Now we're just taking side shoots off. Another blueberry, some more broccoli side shoots. So as you see, after you take the head, don't get rid of the plant. You can eat the greens, but it also produces side shoots, and you can also harvest that. So, salads, eat it raw, whatever you like. But yeah, So that's just a couple of the things that I'm growing. There's a ton of other stuff in the front yard. More basil, more sage, more bell peppers, strawberries, borage, um, lemon balm, parsley, um, cilantro. So, not to mention we got, what else? Let's see, pineapple guava, and then we got Asian plum tree also. Lavender in the front, 3 types of lavender. And I think that may be it for now. But yeah, guys, so these are some of the things that I'm growing. Since viewers were curious and some of you guys were asking, I thought I'd kind of give you a little bit of a tour. Oh, one more thing I almost forgot. Of course, we got 3 orange trees in the back. Well, 2 orange trees, and then there is a kumquat tree right back there. So yeah, this is just some of the stuff that I'm growing. There's more to come. And I know some people look and they go, it doesn't look like it's organized, right? Like a lot of people have all these perfect rows and setups and all this and that. And for me, I'm somewhere in between a lazy gardener and a tentative gardener, I guess you could say, right? An active gardener. So I do like having some of the weeds around, creating a natural condition. And then some of it is just inevitable when you've had chickens for as long as I have. This used to be all grass, but over the years, you know, having so many flocks of chickens and consistently having flocks of chickens, they've pretty much taken care of that problem for me. But since I've cordoned off them to the other side of the yard over there, I think there'll be something that'll be done to this area to get it back right once I get all these logs up and picked up. And then I got a few plans, you know, finna put an outdoor kitchen back here and some other things. Yeah, so this is what I'm growing, guys. You know, don't be afraid. I'm an urban boy. This is an urban garden. You know, I'm dead smack in the city. And from Compton to compost, I guess you could call it, right? So anybody can do it. You don't have to be a farmer, have a farmer background. You just got to have the will and the want, you know, to eat better food. There's nothing like getting your entire meal from the backyard, and nothing that you're eating has preservatives, additives, dyes, or any of that stuff. Matter of fact, you know exactly what's in it because you're feeding your animals, right? So, and you're the one who's taking care of your plants. So if you notice here, also, there's water catch systems set up, diverters on all of my downspouts, right? And I have my drums tucked away because it's summertime, but catching water is the thing. So think about it. Start a garden. It's nothing to it but to do it. You know, this is Mac Farmstead, and I'm out. I'm signing off. Everybody, if you like this content, like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, families, you know, and y'all have a good day.